Hi, this video is going to look at Elkington's Triple Bottom Line. So in this section here, analysing the internal position of a business to assess strengths and weaknesses, we've been considering how we can assess how well a business has performed as part of our SWOT analysis and our strategic planning process. Elkington's Triple Bottom Line is right at the bottom here, and it's a different measure of assessing business performance to the traditional measures that were kind of based on just looking at the profits that a business made, looking at monetary issues. So we've looked at Kaplan and Norton's balanced scorecard. This is a similar model that provides an alternative way of assessing a business's success. So this system assesses a business performance in terms of, number one, profit, the profit that a business makes. Obviously a business cannot survive without profit, but also we'd want to consider what's our impact on people, what's our impact on our customers, on our employees, on the local community. And we'd also want to have a look at the impact of the business on the planet. So let's go into that in a little bit more depth. I'll start with profit. Profit, as we know, is the difference between total revenue and total costs. And while a business might be able to survive in the short term without making a profit, ultimately an unprofitable business is not going to survive very long. So profit, it's not quite listed as such here, but this is almost like the foundations of a business. It's all very well saying we're going to do these great things for the people that are involved in our business and the planet, but without a profit we can't do any of that stuff. Phil Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, is the chairman of Nike and the founder of Nike, and he wrote a book recently, I think it was called Shoe Dog, in which he described profit as, I can't remember exactly the analogy used, but it was something like profit is the red blood cells of a business. Okay, we've all got blood, we've all got red blood cells. It's essential for us to survive, but none of us wake up every morning going, goodness me, I want to make more red blood cells today. And that was his take on profit. Okay, we need profit to survive, it's our red blood cells, but actually why we get up in the morning is to, in terms of Nike, help people get fitter, help them get faster, help them improve their running, help them live longer because they're being active. That's what got him out of bed, that was his aims, but the profit was the key thing that underlined that. So profit, very important. Without a profit we're not going to survive. In terms of people, we'd want to look at our impact on employees, customers, the local community. Now, if we can get profit and people in the same place, we've got an equitable business. Okay, so it should be treating people fairly, having a beneficial impact, making money. The final aspect of the business is considering our impact on the planet. So how do we use raw materials, what's our energy usage, engaging with recycling, emissions. If we get the right impact on people and the planet, we've got a bearable place to live, but actually it's not going to be sustainable because there's no profit. All right, so we can enjoy ourselves in the short term, but it's not going to last very long if we don't have enough money to survive. So when we put these three elements together, when we're making money, having a positive impact on people without using up the raw materials of the earth, engaging in sustainable development. Sustainable development is defined as meeting the needs of people today without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. So we're meeting people's needs today without using up loads of raw materials that are going to damage the ability of future generations to. So this is a long-term model, and when we get all three elements, growth becomes sustainable. And the idea of Elkington's Triple Bottom Line is we don't just report on our profit, but we actually find measures to measure our impact on people, our impact on the planet, and we focus our strategy on developing a business that can satisfy all three of these areas. Okay, if we do that, we've moved away from a short-term focus on profit to a long-term focus on saving the planet and having a positive impact on people. So what are the benefits? Well, it encourages a move away from the short-term shareholder perspective to a longer-term stakeholder approach, where we consider a greater range of people in our performance review. It recognises the importance of profit, but encourages companies to balance against the need for sustainable development. So it's, there's no good making billions of profit this year, but using up all the world's resources while we do it. Companies using this method may improve their reputation and their brand image. It encourages goals to be set against each area of performance. However, there is going to be difficulty measuring the impact on people and planet. So how can we do that? How do we measure the impact on the local community? How do we get accurate emissions data? How do we know the impact that we're having, on the Amazon rainforest, for example? All different. These can be quite difficult for us to measure accurately. Money is far more easy to measure accurately. It's easy to measure how much you got in, how much you spent, and what's left over. So those two measures can be quite tricky. Finally, it might require a change in corporate culture to adopt this approach, and people can be quite resistant to it. If you have a look at some of the issues related to Republicans denying climate change in America and so on and so forth, there can be resistance to introducing this sort of approach.